Those of you familiar with this channel probably know that I'm a cellist and might be curious as to why I would say that it's a great idea to learn piano. Well, first of all, I do play piano as well. And as to why I think it's a great idea, stick around because I'm going to give you 10 good reasons why you should learn the piano. Now, the first good reason to learn piano is that right away you get a good tone. If you've tuned the piano, everything you play will automatically be in tune. And also, it naturally produces a good tone. If you take my instrument, cello, for example, you have to develop a good bowing technique before you get a pleasant tone. And other instruments are similar. Obviously, I'm not talking against the other instruments. I'm just saying that when you start with the piano, you immediately get good feedback, and that will encourage you to keep going. The second great reason to learn the piano is that it's a sociable instrument. You can be the life of a party. You can play for friends. You can play with other instruments or with singers. And the piano works across all sorts of genres: classical, pop, jazz, even rock. So you'll be able to play in many different situations as well. The third good reason to learn piano is because it teaches you harmony. And harmony is such an important part of music, and not just Western music. And there's all sorts of harmony, all the way back from the Middle Ages to the present, and music of all different parts of the world. Harmony is a super important component of music, and you'll learn how to understand it and even maybe use it in compositions you write later. And that relates to the fourth good reason to learn the piano: melody. Now, the interesting thing here is that with an instrument like mine, the cello, it's actually easier to play a sustained melody just because of the nature of the bow. Singing is easy to create a good melody, wind instruments as well. The piano, you have to work a little bit harder to get a good legato melody, but when you're able to do that, you will really understand the basis of melody, and you'll be able to play with all these different sorts of instruments, perhaps even imitating the sounds and the styles and the approaches of the way those instruments work when they play melodies. And aside from that, you'll be able to combine melody and harmony with both hands and 88 keys of the keyboard. Reason number 5 to learn the piano might surprise you, but the piano actually helps with other instruments. First of all, you can take complex, large scores like orchestral scores or even chamber music scores and reduce them to be able to be played on the piano. And that will help you to understand those works, even if piano isn't your main instrument. And another thing is that with many instruments like mine that mostly have single lines, we can play chords occasionally. Music is often written for the instrument plus the piano: cello and piano, clarinet and piano, voice and piano. So for you to be able to understand what's going on in the piano part really will enhance your performances of those works. The sixth reason for learning piano is that it's like a mini orchestra. If you learn the piano, you have a huge range, which covers the range of most instruments of the orchestra, not to mention rock bands, jazz bands, and everything else. So you can work out your ideas if you're a composer on the piano. And you can take those piano skills and generalize them over to keyboard skills. And so now you can work with synthesizers, and synthesizers have sampled sounds. So if you're really trying to build up an orchestral work, you'll be able to even hear more what it sounds like when you use that instrument. But you have to learn piano first. The piano is the premier tool for writing and arranging music. The seventh reason I came up with, this is kind of a funny one, but I think it's still worth mentioning: the fact that the piano is essentially a stationary instrument. Wherever I go when I play the cello, I've got to carry it on my back. If I have to fly somewhere, I've got to buy a seat for it. With the piano, it stays put. If you've got a concert somewhere, that place better have a piano. And so you don't have to worry about any of that. Wherever you go to play your concerts, the piano is there waiting for you. Now, whether or not it's a good piano or tuned, and that is another thing, but at least you don't have to carry it on your back. Reason number 8 is that the piano is an excellent instrument for natural position. Basically, it's like sitting at a table. You sit down upright, your arms are out in front of you. Some instruments have very awkward basic playing positions, and you have to make sure that you're very relaxed at all times within that awkward position. Luckily, the basic piano playing position is quite natural. The ninth reason you really should learn piano is that if you have any interest at all in music theory, music theory being basically the engineering of music, you must learn the piano. The piano allows you to understand scales, intervals, chord progressions, most of the basics of music theory, and it's all laid out right in front of you. If you have basic piano skills, you'll be able to understand music theory better. And so, therefore, it's no surprise that music schools require at least 2 semesters of basic piano proficiency. And finally, the 10th reason I think you ought to learn piano is just that it's fun. It gives you immediate gratification, yet it has endless depth. You want to climb the levels, you can keep going and going. You can play all sorts of music. You never outgrow the piano. It's for absolute beginners and professionals alike. So whether you're just starting out or you're already a musician, the piano is key, pun intended, to listening to, understanding, and enjoying music. And yes, even as a cellist, I can tell you, I probably wouldn't be the musician I am today if I hadn't learned piano. Thanks so much for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel even more, I now have channel memberships. If you join, you get loyalty badges, you get specially designed emojis, and the occasional members first video, but most of all, you get my gratitude for helping with what I'm doing here. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.